This brief video will discuss how to scale the axes of a null distribution sketch in the special case of an extreme test statistic z when performing a hypothesis test. So when performing a hypothesis test, it is possible for there to be an extreme test statistic or capital Z value. That is, a value such that the absolute value of the test statistic is greater than 3. Now, before I move to the next comment, I should point out that this never happens when we're working with confidence intervals. In other words, the Z asterisk value will never be greater than 3. Now, in such a case for a hypothesis test, how do we provide a meaningful null distribution sketch, since the Z value will be outside of our normal scaling of the Z axis, that is between -3 and +3, which is our normal scaling? The next slide illustrates what must be done in such a case. So looking at this next slide, take a look at a couple of things. Notice first of all that I've added some line breaks, axes breaks at both ends of the variable and the z-axes. Then the value that's the extreme value, in this case 8 and 78 hundredths, the negative and positive absolute values of that have been placed outside of the break lines so that they show the vertical lines going up at those values, and it's outside of the boundaries of -3 to 3 on the z-axis. Then I show the shading on the tails of the normal distribution, the null distribution, very lightly, and notice that in this case, because these are such extreme values on the z-axis, the p-value is essentially 0, and I show half of that on the left and half of that on the right. This is the type of sketch you are required to produce when you have extreme z values. And that concludes this presentation.